so our next presentation comes from John Sweeting, who will be presenting the ARIN General Update. John is the Chief Customer Officer at American Registry for Internet Numbers, ARIN, and is coming to us from Chantilly, Virginia. Thank you, John.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Yeah, it's bright up here. Can't see anybody. All right. It's great to be here again. I want to give a few, before I go and get into the slides, I want to just mention the fact that we have an ARIN help desk right outside this conference room. Mike Papano and Eddie Diego are there, and they can help you with any open tickets you might have that you need help with or just have questions on. And if there's you have some deeper issues that you want to discuss, we have our Director of Registration Services over on the other side of the hotel, just as you're going down towards the tent to eat. And Lisa Lydell is there, along with Brad Gorman, our RPKI specialist, Nathan Newman, and also Joe Westover, our Director of Customer Experience and Services. And I think most of them are in the back of the room right now. So shout out to them. All right, I'm going to get going on these slides. So the 2023 priorities for ARIN this year were to continue outreach in the region to eliminate obstacles for organizations on the adoption of IPv6 and to spread the path to autonomy. We've been to a lot of WISP conferences. We've been to FISPA, Internet 2, Canary, CanHite. We've been to about 40 some outreach events this year, spreading the word on IPv6 and RPKI and a few other things that are happening at ARIN that we felt we needed to get out there and let the community know. Another one is priority was to provide industry-leading registry services to the community, which we feel we are doing, and we continue to try to improve that as much as we can. Prioritize the advancement of internet routing security. We have a dedicated product owner for that, which is Brad Gorman, and there's been a lot of work, development work going into that. And we also are protecting the multi-stakeholder approach to the internet technical coordination. As most of you know, if you were here and you heard John Kern's keynote yesterday, we do a lot. He does a lot personally for the betterment of the multi-stakeholder approach. And he gave out some good advice and some good warnings to people to start getting more involved. All right, so what have we been working on? Of course, our policy updates. Policy is what's very important to the ARIN community. It's how they interact with ARIN, how they qualify for resources. We had a new number resource policy manual released on 13 September. There was one policy that stands out there was an ASN policy, which underwent a significant revision. So basically now if you are wanting to build a network or you're wanting to multi-home or you're wanting to peer and you need an AS number, you join ARIN and you open a ticket and you ask us for an AS number. The first AS number you ask for, approved, you get it. If you come back asking for more AS numbers, we're going to ask a little bit more about, well, why do you need more than one AS number? And that can be whatever reason you have for needing more than one, we'll look at and most likely approve. But we just need to, the community wants to know that people understand how to use AS numbers and not just waste them. Along with that, on the AS numbers, there's going to be a little bit more information on some changes with AS numbers and how we handle them as well as far as fees and stuff go. Our outreach goals in 2023 was to build awareness of ARIN among the internet community and educate the attendees on the services we provide. Here you can see we've been to 31 events, 22 in the US, 4 in the Caribbean, Canada, international. Usually we provide a help desk at these events. We also present, myself, John Curran, Brad Gorman. We get up and present on a lot of different ranges, IPv6, resource public key infrastructure, network autonomy and how to obtain it, the transfer market. We get a lot of requests to come out and present on transfer market and what's going on there. And also providing important changes to the ARIN services, which there's a few this year that I'll be getting into. Here's all the places we've been. As you can see, they really, it scales very well with all the different communities out there. Information security at ARIN. So ARIN now has a CISO on board. Christian Johnson is our CISO. He joined us about 1.5 years, almost 2 years ago, I think. He has taken us through the SOC 2 Type 1 requirements, and we're certified for SOC 2 Type 1. We just got our PCI DSS certification. I know it says we're finalizing it, but it actually came through, I believe, like Thursday or Friday last week. We've made some enhancements to our security controls, including mandatory 2FA, and we're continuing to evolve that. There will be some more enhancements coming over the next 18-24 months. And there's also, our board has established a risk and cybersecurity committee that meets, I believe, monthly, and they discuss all this stuff and give us the goals and, you know, give us that path for what we want to do with the SOC 2 and the different security risks that we face. Okay, programs and services. RPKI adoption, org participation. We have 23.9% of the organizations in ARIN are registered to use ARIN's RPKI services. As you can see, hosted is the majority of them at a little over 4,000. Delegated is, there's 110. And the repository services is a delegated, but they use our repository. So it's, I think we call it the hybrid. There's a long name for it that I don't know off the top of my head, but we basically call that a hybrid solution. And you can see the numbers, how they're growing over the last year. Development within the RPKI services. We have the ROA intelligence, ACSP. This was a suggestion that was put in, providing early warning of potential impact from ROA creation. So what will happen is when you log in and you want to create a ROA, it'll bring up all the route announcements that you have active out there in the global internet, and it'll compare the ROAs that you're trying to generate against those announcements, and it'll actually warn you if you're doing something that will make any of those announcements invalid. So that's in the pipeline right now. It's probably 6 to 8 months out before you'll see it actually released. And then we have the advanced features on ARIN Online, the ability to download the full list of your ROAs to a file for offline processing, accepting ROA changes via file upload, and adding functionality to assist customers transitioning from hosted to delegated RPKI, which was also a suggestion that was put in. I got a note here to advise you that Brad Gorman, our senior product owner, will be given a routing security update during ARIN 52 on Thursday, for those of you that are going to stay around for ARIN. We have a qualified facilitator program in place now. We have 8 qualified facilitators that have put in for the program and gone through the rigorous review that we do of them. We vet them. We make sure that they are a legally registered company to do business in the ARIN region. They have to meet a lot of requirements. So there's a minimum of insurance that they have to have. They have to have a strong reputation. They actually do an interview with myself and our general counsel, Michael Abuela, and we ask them a lot of questions. And they, for the most part, the 8 that we have, they're all very well versed on the transfer market and are very well qualified to help the community get through that process. We don't guarantee anything with them, but we can tell you that we have done some rigorous vetting of them so that you can have a pretty good feeling that you can go to them and they will be able to help you with whatever you need. We don't get involved in the discussions of that, though. You have to reach out to them. The list is on our website, and you can find it if you go on there and search for Qualified Facilitator Program. We have a fellowship program. For the fellowship program for ARIN 52, which is the meeting immediately after this NANOG, we've already gone through that, selected it. There was 14 fellows selected, 10 of which are probably here at NANOG because ARIN foots the bill to get them to the NANOG meeting as well as the ARIN meeting. And the other 4 participate virtually. The mentorship is usually provided from a member of the ARIN Advisory Council. However, we would accept anybody in the community that wanted to be a mentor to these fine fellowships. And the applications for ARIN 53 will open in January 2024. Here's some numbers. 70 plus were interested. As you can see, 14 were selected from our different regions, 3 from the Caribbean, 6 from Canada, 5 from the US, and some other numbers there. Our grant program is completed for this year. There was 3 recipients selected. Their names are right here, and their projects: open source, reg control, and prefix control with full control, NTP, TCP services, Daemon with Network Time Foundation, IPv6 test pod with Internet 2. Were approved for grants this year. Okay, the IPv waitlist resources are very scarce these days and getting much scarcer. The only influx we have to that is returned revoked resources for people that actually just don't pay their bill. They are out of business, whatever, and they don't need the resources anymore, and just don't pay the bill, and we end up revoking them and then waiting for a certain period, which is a year after their bill was due, making sure it's not routed or it's not going to cause any disturbance, and then we reissue them on the wait list. There are some that are returned, but very few. Premier Support Plan is still going strong. We've had a few more organizations join it this year. Looking ahead, so these are important ones. ASN fee harmonization. There's going to be a fee change at the end of this year. It takes effect 1 January, where we're going to harmonize the ASN fees with the IPv6 and IPv4 fees. So it's going to be the greater. If you have IPv4, you're a certain tier. A number of IPv6, you're a certain tier. And now with AS numbers, you'd be a certain tier. And the 3x small is $250. There will no longer be the $550 issuance fee for an AS number. If it's your first resource you get from ARIN, there'll be a $250 initial fee, but then everything else you get that year, there's no fee until you get your annual invoice, and then that will go based on the amount of resources you hold. Another big one is expiration of the legacy fee cap, effective 1 January. ARIN will no longer offer the fee cap for legacy resources brought under an agreement. However, the people that have signed up for it prior to that date or have a ticket in flight asking for it, and we're working on it, they will still be have the legacy fee cap in place for as long as it takes to get them up to the price they would pay. ARIN elections are being held this fall, this meeting. For the ARIN Board of Trustees, we actually have 4 open seats. 3 will be full-term seats. It's because we have 2 seats that are expiring, and there's 1 new seat. The ARIN Board agreed to, or voted and approved to move the board out to 9 elected members year before last. So last year was the first year that it was expanded. So this year there's 3 full terms open, which should be the normal every year now going forward, but there's a partial term seat open. We had a board member that had to resign due to a conflict with a new job that he got. ARIN Advisory Council, there's 7 open seats, 5 are full term, 2 are partial terms. One of those partial terms are due to an AC member that got elected to the board last election and had to resign from the AC, and one is just a member who resigned. And then the NRO Numbers Council has 1 appointee. That person will be appointed. There's 3 nominees for that, and that will be appointed by the board at their meeting tomorrow. Here's the time frame on that. Elections open on the 19th, close on the 27th, and then we'll announce the results, and the terms will begin on January 1st. And our next meeting is here in San Diego starting Thursday. Thank you. Any questions? Looks like no questions. Very good. It's hard to see. Well. Uh-oh. Oh, and there we have a question. Kevin Bloomberg, The Wire.
No,
No.
Kevin Bloomberg, Toronto Internet Exchange.
All right.
You look lonely up there, John.
Yeah, it's very bright.
Yeah, two things. There is policies that affect operators in this community, and I wanted to point that out. We've got the ARIN conference coming up, and I think it's still important for people in this room to at least peruse the policies that are there. There happens to be this time one IXP policy, so if you're potentially looking to be an internet exchange operator, it's worth looking at that policy. Secondly, RPKI, just a thank you. I know you didn't really have it on the slides here, but the easy button way of being able to do RPKI and IRR entries, there was a community consultation, is very important, not necessarily for people in this room themselves, but for their customers. ARIN is making it much simpler for organizations to do RPKI, to get it done, and to not have to wrap their head around it. And I think if you could spend a little bit more time, not now, but showing the NANOG community how much easier it is to get things signed and done, it would be appreciated.
Thank you, Kevin. Yeah, I'll get Brad to put in and present maybe in the February meeting on all of that stuff. RS?
Yeah, wow, that's loud. Rob Seastrom, ARIN Board, other organizations speaking on my own behalf. I'd like to throw some numbers out there. One regarding the easy button, ROA issuance. I had not done it before. I did it in 4 minutes and 20 seconds yesterday with including a screw up and a slow network connection. So kudos, this is very, very nice.
Thank you.
I'd also like to give some numbers surrounding the waiting list, since you said that the address resources for the waiting list are very scarce. So to contextualize that, as of a couple days ago, there were 708 entries on the waiting list.
Yep.
And the oldest one is a little more than a year old, and you might get the wrong idea looking at
Correct.
that, because 180 requests have been filled over the past rolling year.
Correct.
So to calibrate people's expectations that getting on the waiting list is going to result in some address space in the near future, maybe not so much.
Correct. And I'm giving a full presentation on that during the ARIN meeting, and we're a little bit over 700. The last quarter we filled 29 requests. We get approximately 150 requests a quarter, and we've been filling between 25 and 50 requests per quarter. So you can see it's mounting very fast. It's not going to go lower. It's only going to go higher. But we're estimating, going back and looking at history, it looks about 3.5 years right now for anybody that got on today. And there's going to be a full presentation of that and some ideas thrown about what the community might want to look at as far as the wait list going forward into the future to try to make it more purposeful. Okay. That's it. All right. Thank you very much.